BBAI is in a crucial spot as we finish the day at that $635 level, pressed right around the support of 622 being that general range. If sellers found that control and broke us under that level, we would have a bit of downside, not a lot of support to around that $5 psychological level. So the question is, do we get this bounce here and continue our nice movement up, projecting us to a retest around that $8 to $870 level, and furthermore to that $1036 level peak? Or are sellers going to gain that control and start pushing us back down? Now, price is broken under the support of the pennant that we had drawn up last video, but could we find some support here and start to propel our way up? Or is this the move that the sellers needed to start pushing price down? Now, guys, on the weekly, we do like what we're seeing on BBAI, as every single time that we've seen price go up, we've seen a volatile movement up, and we've seen a volatile retracement. In this case, we see something a bit different, right? Taking the drawings off, we see that price got up to that zone around 870, and we have a bit of back and forth. Buyers push it up, sellers push it down, buyers push it up, sellers try to push it down. But we're still not at the complete bottom of this range here where we've been finding that very strong support. So definitely still remaining bullish as we are still within this formation here, guys. And we are still in an overall uptrend after that very nice movement up. So why is this different than every other time? Well, every time, guys, we've seen a nice movement up. It's been a lot quicker and it's been a lot more volatile given we've had a very sharp leg up on 1 week, and we've gotten that full retracement right here. Got that sharp leg up, full retracement. Very consistent and very mirroring of each other. Every time we've gotten a big spike up, we've gotten that big spike down. And near the IPO range, right, a little bit different. We've gotten that big spike up, but we got that spike down, but then we get that very nice continuation, reaching the all-time highs of 1612, that not being able to hold, and we got that retracement down, that being harder than last time. But seeing something like this, it shows that not every single time this stock goes down means that it has to crush all the way down. Once it crushed down, guys, we saw that retracement back up, reaching a higher level, that being all-time highs. So in this case scenario, we have a little bit of a different structure than we've seen. We've gotten a very nice leg up out of that energy building zone, that leg alone being around 40 to 50%. And we continue our movement up from there, reaching around 100% levels. And instead of fully retracing, we have a lot of back and forth going on here, guys. And we still remain that nice 50% movement kind of in the clear. We still are in this general formation here. So weekly stands pretty self-explanatory. We have some new price action here we haven't quite seen on BBAI. Things been very volatile. Volume has been insane, guys. This is all-time volume. As you can see, volume has never been in play like it is right now. So all-time volume levels, a lot of buying pressure, a lot of volatility. So that's exactly what you want to see for big moves up and big moves down. Weekly still looking bullish. We do see a bit of back and forth, right? The buyers and sellers are battling it out to see who is going to get that move up or down. All right, guys, now on the daily, we do see that break of that pennant. So not ideal, right? This isn't ideal price action. We got to that resistance and that support. Somebody has to win. We would like to see buyers win in this case scenario as we're squeezing up, getting tighter, tighter, tighter. You'd really want to see a break of that pennant and continue our nice move up, breaking through that 872 and, shooting for that high of around that $10 level. Instead, sellers do win this battle here, guys. We meet up with that resistance and that support, and we kind of just flush downwards all the way to the bottom of this general formation, the bottom being that 620 level, that 622. So we tap on that once, and we kind of tap on that again today. See buyers try to push us up, but sellers did remain in that ultimate control there, guys, with 5 red days in a row, 3 of those being pretty drastic. So right now, we're talking around a 20% movement to the downside over the last 5 days. So yes, not ideal. And yes, we should have gotten that squeeze up for ultimate good bullish signals. But at the end of the day, guys, we are still within this formation here. We are still holding above the 622. So as long as we get the bounce here, still looking very good, very bullish. The stock is very volatile. It's a small cap stock, just like GameStop, AMC, etc. But it has a lot more newer interest. And now we're seeing a lot more data points being formed, given that we do see some new price action here. So no stranger to these very drastic moves up and down. So we could be seeing, right, an energy building phase. We have all-time volume and we see it start to decrease, very obvious decrease as we kind of find a range here and we're getting tight. We're kind of bouncing back and forth. For a BBI breakout, yes, this is pretty tight. We are talking about a 787 to around 622 range. It's not exactly tight, but we're talking about a BBAI breakout. In the midst of that breakout, finding a lot of ping pong action back and forth. Buyers push to the ceiling, sellers push to the floor. Buyers push to the ceiling, sellers push to the floor. So what you could be expecting here is a buyer move up, bouncing off that level once again, push it to the ceiling, and then find that breakout. If we cannot, it's still going to be continued back and forth until we can see an obvious winner and an obvious break. So on the sellers, on the bear side, what you do like to see, and a point for the bears, is 5 red candles in a row, showing that seller momentum. But nevertheless, we did have 4 green candles in a row, showing from the bottom and to the top, breaking through the top, but then we can't hold that position. So quite similar, right? We have 5 here, A lot more control, a lot more consistency. Could be seeing that bounce of that level, continuing this ping pong like formation, or just simply having buyers really pick up that steam, that being a very solid support level. Next few days of price action is definitely going to tell us what's going on, right? We could be continuing our chop within this range. That's one of the things that could happen. Another thing that could happen is sellers try to push us under, get that move downward. Sellers really try to get in that control, possibly find some support at the top of this breakout candle right here. And then we see some really drastic buying pressure, really throwing us back to the top of this range and possibly getting a very volatile movement out. Or the third thing that could happen is sellers just gain that control, guys. We can't hold this support. We can't hold the support around the top of that candle. Being more specific, right, that support would be roughly around that 590-ish range to 595. Can't hold both those levels, and the sellers get into that control, kind of retracing us back down to this level, repeating price history in that sense, going all the way down to this consolidation range of that 369 area. So we are in a pretty interesting spot for BBAI. Any three of those options aren't completely out of the question. In the very short term, the bears do have that momentum building with 5 red days in a row, but we've seen how strong that support level's been. I think we have a lot of buying interest within the stock, so I would not be surprised whatsoever, and I think that we more likely get that bounce right around this level. Could be at that 622, could be at the top of that breakout candle, but get that bounce and continue our movement up. At least retesting around that range one more time. You know, if we topped off there again and we started coming back down, it'd be more possible to see a movement down and that support not hold. I definitely think it's probable we get one more bounce here and a retest. If not, guys, we'll be headed back down to those energy building phases. We see that energy build up, kind of find this very volatile ascending support, and we get that huge movement up to that 1036. On the inverse, we come all the way back down. We find another ascending support, build up that energy, kind of bleed out, slightly different than what happened right here. But nevertheless, we get that huge movement up. If we came back down, we could possibly be seeing some volatile chop once again, trying to gear up for the next big movement. That's if we don't get the bounce right here, right? If we don't get the bounce at that level or at the top of this breakout level, it'd be likely that we'd be heading down, retracing that movement or retracing most of that movement, possibly holding slightly higher. But the more recent times, guys, next couple days of trading, watch for those zones to hold, watch for that bounce and continuation back, testing the top of that 787 and around that $8 psychological level. All right, guys, now on the hourly, we see that break of that ascending support. So we've gotten up, we top around that 872, find that resistance level, get shot back down, and that's where you see that big drastic move all the way down to the floor. Once again, bounce up there, buyers gain that control. Very nice, strong green candle here. Try to push us above this zone once and twice. Solid attempts trying to break that resistance, but we get pushed back down, hit right at that ascending support here. And you see that we are getting tighter, right? Buyers try to break that level once again, get tighter, and now somebody has to win, right? Buyers could have got that bounce again, kind of got tighter, squeezed out. Didn't happen that way, guys. Sellers just found that control here. They make a harsh red candle as they have to break through that support, and they continue their movement all the way down to the floor here. We see an initial bounce heading around that floor level, trying to push us above that 674, and we are trending right back down to the floor once again. So, guys, like I said, if bears get that ultimate control and they push us under that level, watch for the top of this breakout. If that can't hold, guys, bears definitely have that momentum to the downside. But as of right now, we do think that we could be hitting the bounce here, continuing that nice movement up. Definitely need the bounce here for the bulls, guys. If we can't get the bounce, not looking great. But as of right now, we stand slightly bullish to neutral. All right, guys, and let me know your price predictions in the comments below. You guys think that BBAI will blow up, get that bounce, continue its nice movement up past those levels and to that 1036? Or after a few tests of that top, guys, is it finally time that the sellers get into that control? I think that we can get that bounce here, guys. Buyers have been a powerhouse with the stock recently. We've switched up price action. It's not helpful that we see 5 red days in a row. The bears are starting to gain that control, but I think that we could stub out that control right at that support level, trying to get a bounce back up, continuing that ping pong like formation before we get a nice move out. I appreciate you guys making it to the end of this video. And as always, trade smart, and I will see you all in the next one.